to round 3 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of November 23rd. I'm Nicole Erdix, and I'm here with Terry Morrow.
Hello.
And Catherine Haleko.
Hello.
We're mums of teens and young adults, and when it comes to parenting, we've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. But we're still waiting for that day when we'll reach the finish line and have no further need to lay down in a dark room with a wet rag over our eyes worrying about something or other. Wednesday is complaint day here on Parenting Roundabout, and today, if it's not the pandemic that's interfering with our holiday plans, it's our own kids. So yeah, that's kind of a little comment on my current issues that I'm having with my nearest and dearest. But yeah, so as my children are getting older, I'm having to adjust the planning of the holidays to take into consideration their lives. Who would have thought? Because let's just back up for a minute. I grew up in the 70s and the 80s, and my parents, you know, when they planned something, that was it. That was like, you didn't mess with their plans, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So nothing else mattered. And you were going to be there, and you were going to eat what they gave you, and you were going to follow their traditions. And, you know, that was the time when children were seen and typically not heard. So, but now that we parent a little bit differently than our own parents, or at least mine, I've found myself taking my kids more into consideration over the years as they get older and what their own, you know, I think when they were little, I kind of set the tone and established some foundational routines and traditions. But now that they're getting older, they're having certain demands, or there's certain things that they have to deal with, certain issues that come up that we're forced to plan around. And I'm thinking, was it better when my parents just said, you know, be there, eat this, and that's the way it's going to be?
Right.
And we all just showed up, we towed the line and showed up? Or is it better that we're being more accommodating, but then that's kind of opening up the door to a bunch of other stuff?
And also, why are you always the one who's not getting what you want in this scenario?
Exactly.
So unfair.
When do I get to have my version of a Thanksgiving or my version of Christmas? Everybody else has it their way. So anyway.
I felt this way a lot when my kids were littler, actually, mostly about Christmas, like just because of having to juggle, you know, your immediate family, your own family of origin, you know, your parents and siblings, and then your in-laws. Like, it was so much when the kids were really young. Like, I feel like I've complained about it here on this podcast. Like, you know, if you're spending Christmas with the cousins, then everyone has to do Santa the same way. Otherwise, it's weird, you know, like, but if you're just at home, you can do it the way you want. So some of that has gone away as my kids got older. And then unfortunately, my husband lost a lot of his family members. But, you know, it's just, I found that balancing act to be very difficult. Mm-hmm. So that's less of a thing now that the kids are bigger. And of course, in a pandemic, it is not a thing because no one's going anywhere or doing anything.
I gotta feel like a lot of people are secretly sort of like, well, darn, the governor says we can't have Thanksgiving. Oh, no. Oh, well.
Right.
Yes. Can't have Christmas. Darn it. We can have just our own little family Christmas. And it's not my fault. And you don't have to say, be the one who won't do it. That's this year. What can I do? It's a pandemic.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, still there's like those immediate family members. Like, you know, if you're taking into account, you know, your children's close friends or partners or, you know, pets or like stray animals or like there's always something in the mix. It's like when they were younger, it was kind of easier to, you know,
well, you definitely had more. Yes, for sure.
your immediate unit. But now that they're getting older, it's like there's all these influences, and it's not as straightforward as it used to be.
Yeah.
I guess. Whereas, see, like with my parents, even now, they're just like, well, it's either our way or the highway. So you choose. So, like, okay. Yeah.
Did you purposely not establish those boundaries with your own kids because you didn't like that? Or did you just...
I think so.
That's just not who you are.
This sounds like a therapy session.
It's like, I'm not going to do that when I raise my kids. And then you realize why. It was
right.
Exactly.
So
why
much
they're there in the first place. I know. Here I am grousing about the way I was raised, and I was like, and I'm thinking, that might not be so bad.
Had some advantages I hadn't considered.
Yep. I don't know. That's just kind of how but I mean, are you having to adjust time, like even just with your own family as they've gotten older? Are you adjusting your menu? Are you adjusting your time? Are you adjusting, I mean, obviously work schedules maybe, like how, are any of these frustrating you? Is there no frustration? Are we all completely okay with this?
Yeah. I mean, my kids will pretty much do still whatever we want to do. There's really no, quibbling with that. Sometimes there has been with family and with family members' kids needing different things and having schedules and stuff. But, we're pretty flexible and pretty able to roll. So I don't think that it's not an issue for us right now. And when they were littler, I don't think that it was then either. I had the same experience when I was a kid, is that, the holidays, there was a specific way things were done and specific person who had it at their house and specific food that was done and specific people that came, and that is what it was. And it was really great for a while, and then it became a real rite of passage for me to make my own plans for Thanksgiving and break my mother's heart. And, so I had all that drama on the other end, but nobody has imposed it on me now. And I don't know at this point in my life that I'd really care that much. Fine, go do whatever you want to do. Mostly because we really haven't had for a number of years any real formal Thanksgiving. We did when the kids were little and all the family, my husband's parents were alive and all the family would get together. But it's been a long time. And of course, we also had I wouldn't call it an advantage, but we never had to deal with two different sets of in-laws because my family was in California. So they didn't generally fly out for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we only had to really deal with one family.
Well, that makes it easier.
Yeah. So that I know that's a difficulty sometimes too, when which house do you go to? And is one trying to outdo the other?
Yeah, I think this year, especially pandemic wise, it's going to be weird and possibly difficult when my college student comes home.
Yeah.
In terms of, her wanting to see lots of people and that
versus
not
you
being a great idea. And she's kind of like, she knows, like, she actually has been very careful at school, especially just because she's on her skating team and she's trying to be able to keep skating. And she has been pretty careful, but, I think she is concerned about friends' expectations and things when she comes home, and she might actually want some parental
somebody to blame.
Somebody to blame. I don't know. We'll have to see. I foresee it being a challenge. Because she's going to be home for 7 weeks or whatever. Like 6 weeks. It'll be a long time that she's not going to want to just sit in her room by herself. Oh boy. So
yeah. No, it's challenging. I think it's gotten more challenging.
You know, and even if it weren't for a pandemic, I think there definitely would be some of that. Like, well, I don't want to go out of town for Thanksgiving because I'm, you know, home from college and I want to see my friends.
Right.
You know, like that could definitely happen sooner than we think.
This is where it's useful to have kids who don't have friends, because that's not really an issue in my house.
But they have work.
It's a whole different issue.
Yes.
Every now and then, it's handy.
Well, we'll have to just see how it goes with this whole holiday season. It's going to be a weird one, no matter what.
That is true.
But that's going to be it for today's round 3. Tune in tomorrow when we'll obsess about little conveniences we're grateful for, and then on Friday to see what we've come up with for our Roundabout Roundup picks this week. Find all our episodes at parentingroundabout.com and talk back in the comments there, on our Facebook page, or on Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat.